Have you ever wondered how the space race, one of the most defining events of the 20th century, began? It was an era that saw the world's two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, locked in a fierce competition, not on the battleground, but in the boundless expanse of space. This cosmic tug-of-war was born from the geopolitical tensions of the Cold War, a time when the world was split into two opposing blocks, each vying for supremacy on all fronts: economic, military, ideological, and now, extraterrestrial. But what exactly set the stage for this celestial showdown? Our story begins in the late 50s, an age of rock and roll, drive-in theaters, and the simmering Cold War. While the world was engrossed in earthly matters, the Soviet Union was quietly preparing to make history. In 1957 they launched Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite. This beeping metal sphere, no bigger than a beach ball, was a brilliant display of Soviet technological prowess, a beacon that penetrated the Iron Curtain and reached the ears of millions around the globe. The launch of Sputnik 1 was more than just a scientific achievement. It was a bold statement, a clear message to the world that the Soviet Union was leading the way into the space age. It was a wake-up call to the United States, a challenge that could not be ignored. The space race had officially begun, and so the stage was set. The United States, not to be outdone, would soon respond, and the world would watch in awe as mankind ventured further into the unknown than ever before. The launch of Sputnik 1 sparked a fierce competition between the two superpowers, marking the start of the space race. Can you imagine the thrill of being the first human to venture into the unknown depths of space? Picture this. The year is 1961, and the world is in the throes of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union are locked in a fierce competition to prove their technological superiority. Enter Yuri Gagarin, a Soviet Air Force pilot turned cosmonaut, selected from over 3,000 candidates. He was to become the first human to journey into outer space. On the 12th of April 1961, Gagarin boarded the Vostok 1 spacecraft. As the countdown reached zero, he was launched into the great unknown, a world where no man had ever set foot before. For 108 minutes, Gagarin orbited Earth, reaching a maximum height of about 187 miles. His spacecraft, Vostok 1, completed one full orbit around our planet. Imagine the awe-inspiring sight of Earth from above, the swirling blues and greens of our home planet, a sight reserved only for the gods until then. Gagarin's journey was not just a physical voyage into space, it was a psychological and political journey too. His mission marked a significant victory for the Soviet Union in the space race, establishing them as the leaders in space exploration, at least for the time being. Upon his return, Gagarin became an instant hero, not just in the Soviet Union but around the world. His groundbreaking journey into space represented the limitless possibilities of human achievement. It was a beacon of hope during a time of political tension and uncertainty. But the story doesn't end there. Gagarin's successful mission intensified the competition, prompting the US to accelerate its own space exploration efforts. The space race was far from over, and the first chapter in this thrilling saga had just been written. The world watched with bated breath as the two superpowers continued their quest to conquer the final frontier. How would you respond if your main rival had just achieved something incredible? That's the question President John F. Kennedy found himself grappling with in the early 60s. The Soviet Union had just launched the first human into space, and America felt the pressure. But rather than conceding, Kennedy chose to do something bold. In a landmark speech to Congress on May 25, 1961, he declared America's intent to land a man on the moon before the decade was out. It was a lofty goal, one that seemed nearly impossible at the time. Yet Kennedy's commitment was unwavering. He believed that such an achievement could demonstrate the superiority of America's free society over the Soviets' communist regime and rally the nation in a common cause. To realize this ambitious goal, the United States had to ramp up its space exploration efforts. This led to the establishment of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. NASA was to be the driving force behind America's space endeavors, and it would spearhead the nation's response to the Soviet space victories. In a whirl of activity, NASA launched the Apollo program in 1961. The Apollo program was a series of missions aimed at achieving Kennedy's moon landing objective. It was a massive undertaking, involving thousands of scientists, engineers, and astronauts. The program faced numerous challenges and setbacks, including the tragic Apollo 1 fire in 1967. Yet, the team pressed on, driven by a shared vision and an unwavering determination. In less than a decade, the United States had gone from watching the Soviet Union's space triumphs to preparing for a moon landing of its own. It was a remarkable turnaround that showcased the power of ambition, determination, and innovation. The stage was set for a lunar landing, an event that would change the course of history. With the world watching, America was about to embark on one of the most audacious journeys ever undertaken by humankind. Can you picture the moment when the first human stepped onto the moon's surface? It was the year 1969, a time when the world was on the cusp of something extraordinary. The Apollo 11 mission was at the center stage of this momentous period, a daring endeavor that would see mankind venture farther than ever before. The Apollo 11 mission was a masterstroke of human ingenuity, a testament to our relentless pursuit of knowledge and exploration. The mission was spearheaded by NASA, America's space agency, and was a part of their ambitious Apollo program. The aim? To land a man on the moon and safely return him to Earth. A task as daunting as it was thrilling. At the heart of this mission were three courageous astronauts: Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Armstrong and Aldrin were destined for the lunar surface, while Collins had the critical role of piloting the command module in lunar orbit. Together, they embarked on a journey that would etch their names in the annals of history. The Apollo 11 mission was not without its challenges. The astronauts had to navigate through a perilous journey of nearly 240,000 miles, facing the unknown dangers of space. Yet they pressed on, driven by their mission and the collective hope of humanity. On July 20, 1969, the lunar module, affectionately named Eagle, detached from the command module and began its descent towards the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin, enclosed within the Eagle, braced themselves for the landing. And then, after a few tense moments, Armstrong's voice crackled over the radio. "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." The world held its breath as Armstrong, followed by Aldrin, descended the Eagle's ladder. And then, at 2:56 UTC, Armstrong planted his left foot onto the moon's dusty surface, marking the first human footprint on the moon. As he took this historic step, he uttered the immortal words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Words that encapsulated the magnitude of the moment, words that resonated across our blue planet, and words that continue to inspire generations. Buzz Aldrin joined Armstrong on the lunar surface, and together, they spent over 2.5 hours outside the Eagle, conducting experiments, collecting lunar samples, and experiencing the surreal landscape of our celestial neighbor. After their historic moonwalk, Armstrong and Aldrin returned to the Eagle, and eventually, the trio safely made their way back to Earth, their mission accomplished, their names forever intertwined with the moon. The Apollo 11 mission was more than just a lunar landing. It was a symbol of human potential, a testament to our capacity to dream, to dare, and to discover. It was a beacon of hope during a time of geopolitical tension and a source of national pride for America. With the moon landing, America had achieved a significant victory in the space race. And more than that, humanity had reached out and touched the stars, forever altering our perception of what is possible. But when does a race end? When there's a clear winner, or when the competitors decide to join forces? As the dust of the moon landing settled, the space race gradually began to transform. The year 1975 marked a significant turning point. This year, the world witnessed a unique spectacle, not of competition, but of cooperation. The Apollo-Soyuz mission was an unprecedented collaborative venture between the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, that once vied for dominance in space. This mission was more than a significant technological achievement. It was a symbol of thawing Cold War tensions, a testament to the power of collaboration over competition. Two spacecrafts, Apollo from the United States and Soyuz from the Soviet Union, launched separately but met and docked in space. The astronauts from both nations shook hands, exchanged gifts, and conducted joint experiments, demonstrating the potential for international cooperation in space exploration. The Apollo-Soyuz mission signaled the end of the space race. But was it truly the end? In one sense, yes. The fierce competition that had driven the United States and the Soviet Union to extraordinary lengths in their quest to conquer space had subsided. The space race as we knew it was over. However, in another sense, it was just the beginning. The end of the space race marked the dawn of a new era in space exploration, one defined not by rivalry but by collaboration. The International Space Station, a joint project involving multiple nations, stands today as a shining example of this cooperative spirit. The space race was not merely a contest between two nations, it was a testament to human ambition, curiosity, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. It showed us that our reach should always exceed our grasp, that our dreams and aspirations are limited only by the confines of our imagination. The space race may have ended, but the exploration of space continues, now as a collaborative effort. Space is no longer a battlefield for superpowers, but a shared frontier for all of humanity to explore and understand. So, what can we learn from the space race? Let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we've traversed in the past few minutes. From the dawn of the space age, where the world watched in awe as the first artificial satellites were sent into orbit, to the first human breaking the bonds of Earth and venturing into the unknowns of space. The space race was a whirlwind of ambition, competition, and scientific progress, marked by both triumphs and tribulations. We've seen how the United States responded to the Soviet Union's early accomplishments with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. This period of intense rivalry gave birth to groundbreaking technological developments, some of which continue to shape our lives today. Yet it wasn't merely about who could get to the moon first, it was about pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The moon landing, an event that still resonates with us half a century later, was a testament to human ingenuity. It was a monumental achievement not just for the United States but for all of humanity. It showed us that we could reach for the stars, quite literally, and succeed. Yet the end of the space race did not signify the end of our cosmic ambitions. Rather, it marked a shift from competition to cooperation. Nations began to realize that the challenges and opportunities presented by space exploration were too vast for any one country to tackle alone. The space race transformed science, technology, and society in ways we're still discovering. It was a powerful catalyst for innovation, inspiring generations of scientists, engineers, and ordinary people to dream big and strive for the extraordinary. The space race was more than just a competition, it was a testament to human ingenuity and the power of collaboration. As we continue to explore the cosmos, let's remember the lessons from this remarkable chapter in our history.